Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? Alright. Today, we're playing two back-to-backs. Very different vibes. So the first one's called Imaginaria. And I've said Imaginarium. In my brain, I've read this three different ways. So, let me see if it's controller support. Maybe not. Maybe it's more like a visual novel. Check it out. Imaginaria is both a night watch and the night watcher. It's a military term and supposedly comes from Latin imaginarius, relative to a mental figure. Perhaps because under Imaginaria duty, the mind likes to wander too. Here in Antarctica, we do them since the incident. And tonight, I am Imaginaria. Hey, gay thoughts, what's up? I don't mind doing the watch at this hour. I couldn't sleep anyway. So we're basically keeping watch at nighttime in Antarctica. Because there was an incident of some kind. It's me. The window is covered with cardboard almost all year round. During winter, it's too dark to see anything, and it helps with insulation. During summer, the sun at night drives me crazy. Oh wow. That must be no fun. This is my radio. I take it with me all the time. It's the only sure way of being found. Damn. There's no phone signal here, and the Wi-Fi works only inside the buildings. When you go outside the station, you need to always take a radio with you and announce where you go. There's supposed to be a radio person on call all the time to register these movements, but you know. Okay, let's work our way down. This is my laptop, my piece of home. I'm spending the dead of winter learning pixel art and creating a game engine to make interactive fiction. This is pretty neat. Either one will be useful, maybe. Okay, it's the same thing, cool. Antarctica's cold, and to go outside you need to get dressed in layers. Oh, of course. There's a first layer or first skin made of thermal long johns and an undershirt. The second layer is made of thick fleece. And the third layer is water and windproof trousers and a jacket. We also have an extra big puffy feather jacket for the glacier, which smells really bad when wet. Ugh. Me, I like to wear these overalls. They're warm enough that I only need the first skin underneath in warm nights like this one. Damn. They're great for working and walking about, but you can't stay still for long or you get cold. Water bottle? Antarctica's very dry, so I keep this water bottle in case I need to wet my throat during the night. That makes sense. I can imagine it being dry there. I keep it far from the door and far from the heater, so... Wait. I keep it far from the door and far from the heater, so the water is cold but not frozen. Damn. Why can't we click on some items more than once? And some go away. Every time you go out, you need to get dressed properly and take the radio, even in quiet nights like this one. There was a guy who went out to get some cheese and got lost. They found him the next day, scared, witless, and with hypothermia but alive. I saw him during the summer. He told me his side of the story. He went out to get some cheese and got lost. He thought he was going to die for cheese. I can't go out like this. I need to get dressed properly and take the radio. It's the heater. The heater keeps the temperature inside above 0. Damn. My winter boots. Fun little story. One time I tried to apply to work at Urban Outfitters when I was like fresh out of high school. And they did like those video interviews, you know, when a company is too lazy to have an in-person one, you know, so they did the video ones. So they did a video interview, and like it would just ask questions, right? And they'd zap on the screen rapid fire, so I'd have to come up with the response. And like they were like, "What's your like go-to accessory?" And I'm like, And they look at my closet. I'm like, I would have to say my winter boots. So fucking dumb. But I got an in-person interview. How about that? So I guess I liked my winter boots story. My feet are always cold, even when the boots and 2 pairs of socks. You know what must be so bad? The like cold sweat, you know? I'm ready to go out. Ooh, I thought this looks kind of like space. For the Imaginaria, I need to check every building in the station, making sure they're not on fire. This is my satellite cabin. There are 4 in the station. We call them tomatoes because they're red and round. They're made of fiberglass, which means they're very light and cold. During storms, they shake, and so do I. If it's not on fire, it is not on fire. Covered with cardboard so no one can spy on me. Whoa. This is the new biology lab. It was built a few years ago, but it's so badly made it's already sinking in the sand. Researchers and technicians work here during the summer, processing algae, fish, and the contents of seal stomachs. It often smells bad, but it's the closest building to the tomatoes, and it has a bathroom, which is nice. Wait. Can we go inside here? Or, oh, this is where we just came. Ooh. The cove is frozen. It's been like that for a few months now. You can still hear some water moving under it, and when the tide is high, you can see the ice moving up and down. Looks like it's breathing. I always wanted to be a cosmonaut, but apparently I'm too short. Oh, I didn't know there was a height requirement. The best thing was this, so here I am. Do you shrink in space, or is that just like not a thing that when you come back from space, do you shrink? I swear I heard that myth. Or maybe it's a truth. A shovel to dig your way out in case it snows too much. It's not really being used since the summer. All machines are disconnected. Definitely not on fire. I wonder who would do best in a snow scenario, because like Scandinavians have some crazy snow, but Bostonians also have some crazy snow too. And New Yorkers, oh. Honestly, the whole New England area gets a ton of snow. These containers are extensions of the laboratory. The 2 on the right are pretty old and rusty. The other 2 are new. New could be 1 to 10 years old, though. Anything here is labeled as new until something even newer comes around. Start from here. This old container is used as a tool deposit. There's all kinds of things in there. Everything old and rusty, like the container itself. Old backpacks, some sleds, ancient clothes no one wears anymore, and preserved animal samples. It should all go to the trash, but the old Antarcticians love to tinker inside when they're here in the summer. So, let me just get old tools. Rusty, okay. Backpack, sleds. Old clothes, okay, preserved stuff, cool. That's neat, like a time capsule type Inside this container, there's a huge nitrogen machine that occupies the whole room. And it makes nitrogen to keep samples frozen while they go back to the continent. Wait, what? Isn't it already cold, though? Okay. This one contains a whole new lab for a single person to work in, but you can see up to 5 people in there most times. There is another laboratory. There's a light inside. Oh, cool, we can go in here. Hey, already 3 o'clock? Yes, still filtering those samples. I'm almost done. What about you? Just starting the watch. Been to the storeroom already? Not yet. Did you want anything? Maybe something to eat, the good stuff. Nothing older than 4 years. I'll see what I can find. Thanks. These plastic jerry cans are used for keeping many different substances, and so they have to be properly labeled. Proper lab safety. This one is for drinkable water labeled as piss. What? Okay. What's this? Can I drink it? Acetone, be my guest. This is a plastic tablet we use to write things down with a thick marker while out in the field. We clean it with alcohol so it can be reused, but it's stained all over. Field work involves writing down lots of numbers, but paper is not the best. Materials around ice and water. That's a good point. Electronic devices are even worse. Nothing works well when it's really cold. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, man, sorry, I had to get water. Yeesh. One time it was so cold when I was taking the bus, my phone literally just shut off because it was so cold. I've heard of it doing that for overheating, but never for when it's too cold. So a plastic tablet it is. 3 water filters, but only 1 is in use. The water goes from the jugs to the water pump, and it's forced through the filter. Then it's discarded in the drum. The paper filter is then saved in a little dish with some chemicals. So have you actually been paying attention to what I say? Sometimes. I think I just clicked this. Oh, at first I thought we kept filtered water steady or something. But only the paper filters are kept. I wouldn't know what for. Don't feel too bad. The previous biologist didn't know either, and it was his job. That's the first I heard of that. This part. A water pump. Okay. These jugs contain water from 3 different points and depths around the cove. The samples are taken with a Niskin bottle, which is a sealed bottle on a stick that can be opened and closed from afar. I went once to try and help out with this, but got really seasick. Heh, you almost fed the seals that day. A hatch to escape in case the lab gets buried in the snow. Oh my god, that's scary. The thermal breaker switch. Energy is not really stable here, and the machines in the labs are expensive. Keep your hands to yourself. I wasn't doing anything, I got mine. Good. Give me a call if you plan to visit our friend. Sure. Okay, this is neat. Let's go this way. This is the old lab. It also has an office, a few bedrooms, and a small kitchen. The overwinter biologist lives here. He's always pestering me to come live with him, but I prefer the tomato. That's like, oh, this is a mosquito. We have a few of them around, but most don't work. They're really old and you can see them in any Antarctica museum around the world. We mostly use them to work on the glacier, but now that it's winter, we keep this one here to move around the station. Doesn't have any fuel. I should get some from the powerhouse. Okay, hold on. I have to type this in chat or I'll forget. Get fuel from powerhouse. Oh, I also gotta get food for lab buddy. 4 years old max. Okay. This is a warehouse filled with the most random crap. There's helium tanks, old segments of the old big dome, the whole portable hyperbaric chamber, construction material, crates with old forgotten samples. Everything is turned off. The biologist is in the lab. Nothing on fire. Seems safe. This is the main house, the second oldest building of the station after my lab. Whoops. It used to be 2 different buildings, mess hall and a meteorology office, and at some point they got joined somehow. The result is a labyrinth of hallways and weirdly shaped rooms. Currently it allocates the main kitchen and mess hall, the meteorology office, a laundry room, and bedrooms for the chief, the XO, and the 2 meteorologists. There used to be a cyber cafe before there was a Wi-Fi everywhere on the station. Since the incident, the radio station and headquarters also function here. What's the incident? There's also only complete bathroom. The only complete bathroom of the whole station with a bathtub and bidet and everything. The kitchen runs on natural gas that comes from these tanks. Oh, we're going in somewhere. Kitchen. This is the mess hall. Fridays we have pizza night, and we also get 1 beer and 1 chocolate. See, you know what's funny? Everyone always has like pizza Fridays. I don't know where that started. Full of candy that no one wants to eat anymore. I never thought I would get to the point of rejecting any candy, but here I am. Damn. This is the Imaginaria log. I have to sign on in after completing the watch. I still need to check the new house, the storehouse, the geodesy project, the gym, the cold storage room, my office, the repair shop, and the incinerator. I could sign now and go back to bed, but the paranoia won't let go of me yet. Maybe in a few more months I'll be fed up enough to do a lovely job. A little coffee and tea corner we can use whenever we want, though it's used mostly by the researchers in the summer. Most of the winter crew have at least a kitchenette or stove on our workplaces. What's in here? Meteorology office has direct exit this way. The meters have to control the weather station every 3 hours. And the weather station is up on that hill. You can see them running up, sometimes in flip-flops and a t-shirt. Why? That must be so cold. No weather guessing is done here. The data is only measured and relayed. This office doesn't need to be inspected for fire since the meteos are on duty all day and night. And I don't feel like saying hi. Oh my. I'm gonna get lost. There's lots of mossy rocks around here. Wait, hold on. Go back. Go back. Go back. I'm gonna get lost. Oh, fuck. This building is a powerhouse. It doesn't have doors, only holes, and it contains the generators. The generators use Antarctic jet fuel to power everything in the station. It's very noisy and smelly. I don't even like walking past this place. This place also houses the cold storage where we keep frozen meat and vegetables. When people die and can't be evacuated immediately, they are stored in here? What? We had one dead this last summer. He was in there for about a week. What the fuck? The cook, who was very superstitious, wouldn't enter, so we ate canned food for most that week. Oh my god, that's grim. These drums contain Antarctic jet fuel to feed the generator. The temperature inside the cold storage room is -20 degrees Celsius noted. Would you even need a freezer if you lived out here? Or would, like, the food freeze so much that it would, like, be unedible? I don't know. I'm assuming you need a freezer if they got one, right? There's nothing interesting inside. Wait. Wait a minute. The store just opens to the sea. I'm not sure what its purpose, but I think it has to do with loading fuel from boats. Okay. Creepy. I'm gonna go back. Till I cycle through all the side-scrolling options. The shack is a little shelter people use when they're loading the fuel tanks. Everything in the station runs on Antarctic fuel with a special mix of jet fuel that can withstand the extreme temperatures. Every summer they have to replenish the tanks to last for the whole campaign until the next summer. The task takes about a day and night, and that's why there's a shelter, but after that, it doesn't have much use. This is the farthest I can go on foot. There's a few more buildings out there, but I should take the Skidoo if I want to check them out. These metal planks are all over the place. These ones in particular are here to help the amphibian boats get out of the water. But you can find them spread around many stations, put to use in different ways, or just lying about. It's a very Kafkian story. Many years ago, some station architect made an order for these things in bulk. For some reason or other, they never arrived, and whatever project they were going to be used for was cancelled. About 12 years later, governments changed, and so did the management for Antarctica. Someone started clearing backlogs so that the planks were bought, and they finally got to the ice. But what for? No one knows anything about them, and the architect has long since died. But the planks are there in great quantities. The first bad idea someone had was to lay them all flat on the ground and make a little plain runway. After a few crash landings, yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds slippery. After a few crash landings, the runway was dismantled and the planks started appearing all over the place. Ships take them from one station to another. Some end up here, some further south. No one dares to take them back in case someone finally remembers what they were here for in the first place. I'm not entering this thing. It's a T3 trap. Last time I got in, I was with the biologist going for the weekly mammal census. It was very icky, and we decided to stop here and put on the crampons before leaving the station. Inside, we found a bag of cookies only 2 years past its due date. The good stuff. Damn. We ate some and promptly forgot what we were doing. The crampons, the census, everything. After debating what... can I go back? No. We decided to put on the crampons right there on the ice and continue with the census. Here in Antarctica, you get these memory lapses sometimes. They call it T3 or winter over syndrome. It's quite a weird feeling. Damn. Okay. Which path should we try? The end one? I think I'm gonna start with that one. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, we're back. I don't want to take this and it takes us further away without exploring the other areas. So I'm gonna keep that on hold for a second. Now, right here, right? I'm debating to see what direction I should be going. Oh, I just got a chlorophyll drop on my paper. So the paper's got a little green splooch on it. Because if I go this way, it's like crazy. I think I'm gonna go this way. Down. The antechamber here is used to keep fresh vegetables and fruit for a while after they get to the station in the summer. They don't last long, but it's something. This year, though, everything came down from the ship already rotting, but we managed to eat some of it anyway. Damn. Oh. What? These are the Antarctic fuel reserves. Antarctic fuel is jet fuel prepared to endure freezing cold. This building is completely empty. This is the weather station. It's quite old and not at all automatic. The meadows are on duty every day and night, and they have to come up every 3 hours to check the measurements. Oh man, that sucks. This thing is an anemometer, a kind of weather vane to measure the wind. It's badly calibrated, missing the north for about 90 degrees. We've been telling this to the meadow for months now. Showed him compasses and geodetic data. But he doesn't want to change it. What a dickhead. This is a rain gauge. I have no idea how it works. It's a long open bottle with antifreeze substance inside. Every once in a while, the metal climbs to a ladder, it puts a stick into it, then writes down a number, and that's it. These glass balls measure the sun reflection by focusing the light onto a little strip of paper. The intensity is measured by checking how much the strip is burned that day. There are a few thermometers under this wooden pyramid. I guess they're one of the main elements of the weather station. The little house has a water pump to bring water from the lagoon at the back of the station. This way we have drinking water most of the year without much effort. Before that, people had to bring ice from the glacier and melt it. Oof, yikes. Making water was a rotative duty, like doing the cleaning, trash proceedings, or Imaginaria. If you wanted to take a shower, you'd have to fish your own chunk of ice. Wow. That's brutal. This is the oldest house in the station and my favorite place in the whole world. It used to be a summer shelter before the station was founded. Then it became the main biology laboratory. After the old lab was built, it then became a storage unit and held the CO2 project machines. The project hasn't been running for more than 10 years, but people still call me the CO2 after it. People change every year, but the positions are usually the same. So you become what you do. You can be the doc, the cook, the chief, the meadow, the biologist, the exo, or the CO2. Neat. Some years ago, the satellite links were set up, then the seismograph and the other projects. That's when the Earth Sciences and Telecom Lab was officially founded. And this year, it's mine. I'm not going in there yet. I like the music. I'm scared. This is a submarine. It's not really a submarine, just a metal storage unit where I keep the big tools. There are 2 satellite links that bring us the internet. The oldest one is a 256 kilobytes per second symmetrical connection, very stable. We use it for the telephone and important projects that send data permanently, like the seismographers. The new one is asymmetrical with about 1 megabyte per second download speed, but really bad upload. We use that one for the internet, but it gets clogged every time someone sends a voice message or a video. Now, it's not so bad, but it's not easy sharing these connections with 150 people in this summer. Okay, let's go in. This is a very small bathroom. Almost the only place we can keep properly heated, so we're making beer in it. Wait, what? Oh, hey, Indie Legion, how's it going? We're playing a game where we're in Antarctica. It's pretty neat. I feel like there's something spooky that's gonna happen, though. I'm just waiting for it. Oh, ho ho. Ooh, okay. Oh, the servers. The machines inside this rack handle the server for the station network that distributes the internet to every house. Imagine just being in Antarctica and then just talking a massive amount of shit online and then being like, what are you going to do? I'm in Antarctica. Second rack has some old devices used with an old satellite link that doesn't work anymore. And there's also voice over IP telephone central. Third rack has machines for the current satellite links. I was trained to handle this equipment for a total of 8 hours. Damn, that must be crazy. I'm afraid that if it suddenly stopped working, I wouldn't know what to do. Considering I wouldn't be able to check on the internet on how to fix it. It's a storeroom full of old machines from long dead projects. I can see the submarine from here. This machine is the last remnant of the CO2 project. I don't know how it works or what it was used for, but it involved big amounts of isopropyl alcohol that we have stored in the submarine. Okay, on to the other room. What's over here? Home, sweet home. Oh, is this where we hang out? This is a little fridge we use in the summer to keep butter and beer. What's up with the beer? It's just a hole in the inner wall, nothing fancy. A kettle to make tea. There's black tea and linden tisane. Some weeks ago, guests came from another station in a small plane called Twin Otter. There's a runway up in the glacier that can be used in winter when the ice is consolidated enough. They told us in their station all the tisane and lemon is lemon verbena, yet another station got all the chamomile. I know exactly how this happened. Somehow it bothers me more than the rotten vegetables. This brick on top of the stove helps heat up the place much faster than any electrical heater. Really? That's pretty neat. We found this cheese forgotten between two shelves in the storehouse. It's a bit green and mossy, but that only improves the taste. Disgusting. Yikes. This is a headlight. A light you strap on your head so your hands don't freeze that much. This computer is old as sin, but it still manages to do what it should. Send data and keep the inventory files. My first duty as chief of this lab is to keep the Earth Sciences projects working all year round. In summer, many researchers and students come to take samples and set up projects. But then they leave and only us, the winter crew, stay to keep everything running. Since we're next to the sea, cables and connections get salt buildup and they often break. Things also suffer from snow, ice, freezing weather, and curious animals and people. My second duty is to keep the internet working, and it seems to be all people care about. This hatch leads to a small storage area where we keep rolls of wire mostly. When it rains in the summer, the doors... Oh my god, it rains? Oh yeah, I guess... Well, it's hard to move. I keep this crowbar to pry it open when that happens. Oh my. What a scary time it is. An empty tuna can? I thought we ran out of tuna months ago. I wonder, like, what's the most popular food items? So we went both ways here. Oh, we can go up. When the station is too overcrowded, sometimes the CO2s sleep here. Or when the CO2s are too antisocial. I don't like people sleeping here, but we still keep a mattress for other purposes. We all fucking up here? To the northeast, there's the glacier. This glacier, as many others around the world, is shrinking rapidly. We keep track of this in a few ways. There's a camera fixed outside this building that takes pictures of the glacier every 3 hours. This project has been running for many years now. That's neat. An automatic weather station on top of the glacier takes measures on temperature, wind, speed, humidity, and more. And finally, there are 10 stakes planted around the glacier that we check every 2 weeks. We have to measure the height from the ground to a little mark in the stake, and take a picture just in case. The seal's also in this direction. I could pay a visit, but I'll need the light. I think there's one in the office. This radio antenna receives information from the automatic weather station on top of the glacier. This data is also stored to a memory card that we have to change every 15 days or so. Glacial work is fun, but it can get really cold up there. Damn. This radio antenna receives information from the IGC project. I can go check it if I take the skiddo. Oh. Okay. Wait a minute. Gotta type in chat. Geodesy Project Skittle. And what is this? Northeast Glacier Light. I got the headlamp. A water reservoir. A rolled up mattress. Cool. A shovel to dig yourself out in case the door gets covered with snow. Thermal breaker for this building. Cool. Could go visit the seal. This is a radio station, or what's left of it. It burned down a week after the last ship sailed, after summer ended. Ooh. We still don't know exactly what happened. It was in the night, and the meteor gave the alert after his 4 o'clock run. This place was headquarters too, and sometimes the chief slept here. But that night he stayed over at the main house because it was too cold. Saved his life, but he lost all his belongings, his uniform and dress shoes, a toy horse. He cried over that up in my office while we tried to reestablish the internet to the rest of the station. Sometimes I can't sleep thinking about my office burning down too. Shit. I'll imagine getting out of my room and seeing the pink gleam over the glacier. This is the incident that brought back the Imaginarias. Some people got really upset about them. The cook lost it, and now he does an even worse job than before. The doctor doesn't even do them. Me, I don't mind the Imaginarias. I'm often restless at night anyway. Aw. Damn, how did it catch on fire? Since the chief had accommodations here, there was a small kitchen, a shower with natural gas. We were scared the gas tanks would blow up, but they didn't. Just in case, we never really touched them. They're still here, seemingly intact. Only remains of the foundation of the building and the external metal steps. Everything else made of wood, rubber, has disintegrated. Shit. We made it back to the beginning, I think. Let me take a peek around. Yeah, I think we did. What the fuck? Let's go straight. Storehouse and the gym behind are the last buildings in this direction. All non-perishable foods stored here. A ship comes once a year with provisions for 2 years just in case. Almost all food arrives past its due date anyway. Most of it stays here for many years, but it's eventually eaten. Damn. Is that like normal? It's full of candy. Ugh. These shelves have everything for snacking and tea time. Sugar, tea, tisane, coffee filters. And there's these nuts. The biologist didn't say what kind of snack he wanted. I could take these. The biologist must still be in the lab. I should take this to him. Cookies, crackers, and cartons of milk. Damn, I wonder if I should have taken the cookies. Through this window, you can see inside the office, and the person in charge can survey the storehouse more easily. These crates have toiletries, soap, shampoo, and toothpaste. If you want anything else, you have to bring it yourself. That's weird. This box is full of chocolate bars. We can't normally take them freely anymore since we're about to run out. Damn, I can't relate, yo. Ever since I've been vegan, I eat chocolate like once a year. Like vegan chocolate, obviously. But because I just not as accessible and available for me to find as it used to be. This is one of those top opening fridges, like the ones in stores. It doesn't work, and maybe it never did, but it's used to store cheeses, hams, and salami. Is that what this is? Oh, no. Toilet paper and a few boxes of this multi-purpose cleaning product we use for everything. Since the water treatment is not thorough, we can't use anything with bleach or harmful substances. This thing is biodegradable and pretty neutral, but it doesn't do much cleaning. It's like a placebo. Oh, no. That bottle of wine has been there since the last campaign. Maybe even before that. It must be real good. Behind the store lies the office in the winery. It's almost the only door in the station with a locked key. One of the divers is in charge of running this place. She keeps track of the inventory and rations whatever is in short supply so everyone can have some. That's nice. Right now it's a beer and chocolate. We only receive 1 can and 1 bar per week on pizza night. Damn. Okay. I hope he likes the nuts as a snack and doesn't get mad at me. This is a sick bay. The doc lives here and he hardly ever goes out. I don't like nor trust this guy. Hope nothing serious ever happens to anyone, 'cause we're totally on our own here. Fuck. I'm not entering this place. He can burn for all I care. Okay. Sheesh. This building is called the New House, and it's just a long hallway with bedrooms. It was built at the same time as the new laboratory, and it has just as many problems. I used to sleep here during the summer when the station was overcrowded. We shared a 4-bed dorm between 5 people. Now it's mostly empty, but the bed memories remain. Contrary to popular belief around here, these are not the remains of a whale or leviathan, or any other single animal for that matter. These bones were gathered around the island and put together here, as if they belonged to an entire beast. But they're not. It was just someone having a laugh. That's neat. A shovel to dig yourself out in case you get buried in the snow. Oh my god, is there a chance that could happen to me? This room serves as a kind of airlock or antechamber, so hallways don't have a direct connection to the exterior. It's also the place to take off your boots so you don't get mud or snow all over the place. This is an anti-exposure or survival suit. We use them when going out with the boots. They're waterproof and they make you float if you fall into the water. Nice. They also have a whistle incorporated. They're also full of holes and super smelly. It's a very particular odor that we call suit smell and sticks to your clothes and hair. I can see the storehouse and gym buildings from here. These boots are gigantic. I can't imagine a human foot so big to fit inside them. But then again, I once found a bunch of guys laughing at a boot they deemed tiny for baby feet. It was mine. Aww. House shoes to wear inside the house. Most of us have a few, so we don't have to carry them around the station. You get some footwear along with the issued clothing when coming here. These boots are big and cozy, but you can hardly walk anywhere with them, and they break in no time. Almost no one wears theirs anymore. The fire extinguisher has passed its due date for some years. Wow. After the incident, all fire extinguishers were inspected, and we found absolutely all of them were expired. It was already winter, so there wasn't much more to do than write a report about it. Yikes. This is the internet access point for the West Wing. It's high up so no one could play with it. In summer, whenever it rains, a stream runs under the house. It's not supposed to rain down here, but it does. I don't know what the floor is made of, but the constant humidity made it all bumpy. Gross. The room is free. Almost no one lives in this wing anymore besides the divers. Oh my god, people go diving? That must be so cold. The divers share this room now that the station is mostly empty. There are lots of free rooms, but they're friends. And they have an 8th generation game console. Good for them. Extra toiletries and toilet paper. Since we stay here for the whole year, we can bring stuff by ship using these blue barrels. I think this one was mine, but it's empty now. This used to be my room during the summer. It's cold and damp, and it was often overcrowded. In summer, people come and go, so I had lots of roommates. After the first month here, I got a terrible cough, and every time I lie down to sleep, it kept getting worse, and I was coughing all day and all night. Sleeping was hard, but eating was even worse. A kitchen helper who stayed here for half the summer used to jump from the bed to rub Tiger Balm on my chest. That's sweet. They had a son with severe asthma, and apparently my coughing was quite triggering. I consulted the doc for a few times, and he said it was all in my head. That motherfucker. In any case, after I left this room, the cough disappeared completely, so it was either ghost or mold. I'm betting with mold. Normally I like the top bed, but these ones are too wobbly. The house has central heating, but since this is the last room on the hallway, the heat barely gets here. As soon as I could, I got rid of the second bunk bed and got a desk and chair. I never really used them, but it was an excuse to cut down by half the amount of people that could fit in the room. A moldy wardrobe. What a nice little adventure we're going on. This is the room I just came from. Whoops. This is one of the shared bathrooms. It has 4 toilet stalls and 4 showers. The floor is extra bumpy in there, and it's not possible to close the door all the way anymore. Okay, we gotta give that guy his snack. His nuts. I should check both wings before leaving. Oh. Boots, they probably belong to the nurse. There should be a fire extinguisher inside this box, but it's not here. I think this is the nurse's room. The chief mechanic sleeps here. I don't know who sleeps here. This is for the internet access point for the rest of the east wing. It's high up so no one can play with it. This was once a whole kitchen to be used in case the house got buried in the snow. Some years ago it was dismantled because the station chief didn't want people skipping breakfast in the main house. Since then it's just an empty room with an electric kettle and some tea bags. Now when the house gets buried in snow, people just stay hungry until they can be dug out. Damn. I thought we could go in. This is bigger than I thought. More plastic crates. I don't know what's inside them. It's probably not interesting. A handy crowbar. Empty blue barrels. These huge water heaters provide hot water for the showers and the heating. Alright, I'm gonna need to pick up a crowbar at some point, but I don't. I think I need to have tasks that I have to do that requires them first. Everyone seems to be sleeping all good here. Ready? Good? Oh. Now, where was the other guy? Doesn't have any fuel. I should get some from the powerhouse. Where's the powerhouse? Hold on. Powerhouse fuel. Okay. I think he's in here. Is that really? Oh, no. Where's the other guy? Maybe I passed by it. I need to give the snacks to the researcher. Oh, okay. Oh. These are just containers, right? I think so. Oh, okay. Back already? I have the snacks. Should I? I'm gonna give him the snacks. I have something for you. Thanks. I was starving. Here. You got me nuts. I've been up for more than 20 hours. I need sugar. Fuck. Isn't it better if you need energy? People eat them in the mountains and stuff. I'll keep them if you don't want it. Give me that. Thanks. You're welcome. Fuck, I knew I should have got the cookies right after I picked up the nuts. My bad. I just thought, you know, that would have been the better option. Maybe I was wrong. So now I need to get fuel from the powerhouse. Where's the powerhouse? Is this it? Where's the power? I think it's... The jerrycan has some fuel I can use for the Skittle. Yes. I think now we're good. Let me see if I can get him another snack. I don't think I can though. Is this where snacks were? No. If I can't find it, that's it. Too bad. I got you the nuts. Most everyone on the station has a radio, so we have a code with the biologist. Pressing the button on the radio makes his little tss sound, and he'll know it's me. He'll be here soon. Oh, cool. This seal is dead? It died at the end of the summer? We saw it crawling this way one time when we were going to the glacier. It found the spot and stayed. Next time we passed by it, it was dead, but looking just as we had seen it the last time. The dead here don't decompose a lot and don't stink either. The schools did eat the eyes, though. Hello, friend. Did you miss us? When seals die, the mammals team takes their head for studying. This crab eater got to keep its head, for it died a few days after the team left the station. Luckily, no one asked us to saw it off. I wonder if I'd do it if given the task. Probably not. Jesus. This little slope is great to lie down and enjoy the silence. The snow around absorbs any noise that may reach it. Same with the wind, For some reason, it never gets quiet here. It's like a vortex, quiet, neutral. And all I can think about is how I don't want to hypothetically saw off the seal's head, so I wouldn't do it. What are you thinking? Tch, nothing, you? I was just thinking I'd love to die in this very spot. What, like right now? Not right now. When I'm old. It's the perfect place. Okay, but you can't die before the summer. See you later? I need to take out the last filter, but that's about it. Sure. The biologist wanted to go alone. Okay. Alright. Let's go back. Oh no. Let's get the fuel in the ski thing. Should I take the skiddo? Yes. Okay, let's go. Where are we going? This is a repair shop. They fix or at least try all machines that run on diesel. Boats, skiddos, ATVs, even the generators. Sometimes they forget the heater's on, but normally the midnight watch would notice. A part of this gate was literally cut off because boats couldn't get through. Nothing on fire. I guess we keep it rolling. This is a garbage incinerator. It doesn't work very well, so we only burn toilet paper. Everything else gets sorted and kept in these old tanks for shipping back to the mainland. Waste that can't be incinerated, that is, most of it, is sorted by this type and put inside these drums. The drums are labeled according to the contents in one of 4 groups, and once a year they're sent back. Group 1, biodegradable solids like food leftovers, paper, and wood. Group 2, non-biodegradable solids like plastic, rubber, and synthetic fibers. The ashes from burnt Group 1 come here too. Group 3, dangerous substances. This group is further classified in one of 46 types of dangerous waste and should include also any element contaminated with those substances. Group 4, inert solids. This is anything that doesn't really harm the environment, like glass, metal, brick, or concrete. Neat. Incinerator works at most once a week, and that's when the station is full. The power is shut down. But the thermal breaker here also controls electricity for the geodesy project that's a bit farther away. After garbage duty, every time they turn everything off, and I have to come here and restart geodesy. I've told the nurse, who's also in charge of waste management, many times about this, but he keeps ignoring it. I've put many signs and even tried to fix the switch with duct tape, to no avail. This is the farthest reach of the station, and it's also part of my domain, the geodesy project. Doesn't look like it's on fire. The data from the GPS antenna is processed a bit here and then sent to my office through a radio link. An ancient computer receives data from the GPS antenna and it stores it locally on its 80 gigabyte hard drive. The data is then sent to the main server in my office and from there to the institute servers in the mainland. Every few months I have to do a backup of the hard drive and wipe it so I can keep receiving data. There's probably a better way to do this, but Antarctica seems to be frozen in time, so to speak. Computers don't like the cold, so we need to keep a heater on at all times in the winter. Damn. This is the GPS antenna. It receives and sends geolocalization data for geodesic purposes. Geodesy is all about measuring the shape of the Earth and the gravity field. These antennas can only be installed on top of bedrock. I guess it gives a bit more stability to the point in space, but I don't really know the reason. It's like that song, and all the science, and I don't understand. It's just my job, 5 days a week. This lighthouse is not connected to the station. I don't know what it's running on. Never seen anyone do any service to it or anything. There's another one just like it, deeper in the cove, and it's the same there. In summer, a couple of squaws nest here in these rocks, and it try to bite me every time I come to check the computer. Squaws are scary. This is the M rock. It's a rock shaped kind of like an M that marks the entrance for the cove. Should I go back? Yeah, there's no other option. Um. I think it's turned off. Nice. Alright, I'm gonna save for now. I don't know if I can save or I just have to start over every time when I play it, but this is a neat little game. It seems very informational. I wonder if anyone involved with the game went to Antarctica. I'll have to research that and check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna end stream real quick and then in like a couple minutes come right back with Slime Frog. So I will see y'all in a bit.